Tell me how have you been? Gee, it's good to see you again.
So good, baby.
Are you planning to stay this time? And if you stay, let me stay.
Welcome to the Gridiron Boys Podcast. I am your host, Evan.
And I'm Aaryn.
And today, I just wanted to kind of come out and say what we're about. We are the Gridiron Boys. That's the name of this podcast. We talk about football. It stems from college football all the way to the NFL. We don't cover the UFL. I don't know nothing about it. So I know Max Duggan is 4-0 or something like that. Pretty cool. But,
That's what's up.
Yeah, it is what's up. But yeah, we're the Gridiron Boys. We are actually brothers. That's what's awesome. And listen, we're not going to be these experts. We're not Joe Klatt. We're not Josh Pates. We're not Colin Cowherd. We're just regular dudes that like live and breathe football. We watch it, but we're not going to watch it as like an analyst or an expert. We're just going to watch the game and watch it. Don't ask us to change it. We're not going to. Aaryn over here loves to drink beer and watch football. That is the American way. That is the American way.
I love
it. Get. Well, I mean, like what food? Like what food would you pair with that? Game day. You gotta. Oh, he does make chili. What's funny is we talked about that the very first episode, which I'm not even gonna count it. That's a pilot episode. This one is the main deal. And today, what are we covering today?
We are covering the ACC. We are doing a complete breakdown as non-expertly as we possibly can.
Yeah, and just because we're not experts doesn't mean we put in the work to freaking like study. All right.
Yeah.
This took a long time, a lot longer than I thought. I procrastinated it.
I was going to say the procrastination was hard.
No, yeah, for sure. It's like, fuck, school just ended and I'm right back. Like, how does that work?
Lazy.
I mean, you got a job and kids, so I mean, it's not your fault. I totally get it, dude. All right, well, let's get started with this ACC. You want me to get started first?
Yeah, go ahead, get her.
Okay, I got to read off this book, guys, because I wrote a lot down and I need to remember. And I'm very bad at just going up there. Like when I do presentations at school, I forget everything.
Excuse me.
So we are going to get this down. So I got my 17th ranked team. I'm actually going to go with a team by the name of Stanford. That is going to be my last ranked team. They finished the year 3-9 and 2-6 in the ACC. And some of the losses last year that I kind of wanted to jot down was a loss to TCU when they lost 27-34, and a loss to SMU when they lost by 30. The 21 ranked SMU, and some of the wins because Stanford has some weird wins. They beat Syracuse by 2 and then beat Louisville. And that's like a random 2 to beat in that conference. And then the ACC, they ranked 16th in offense and 17th in defense. So they just had a very tough year. And their head coach, or actually right now, an interim head coach, Frank Reich from the Colts. Andrew Luck, is he the CEO over there? What is he?
He's the GM.
GM is what I meant, yeah. So he's the GM, Andrew Luck. So they got like this little Colt dynamic. And also, talking about the Colts, RIP Jim Irsay, rest in peace. So this team, the reason why I have him ranked 17 is because you got an interim head coach right now, and it's May. You don't have as much talent. You do have some guys that I would love to, talk about here. And so right now, my first key player for the offense for Stanford will be Kai Greer. He is a transfer from Georgia Tech. Stanford struggled with inconsistencies on the offensive line, injuries, and just very bad play. So a guy from Georgia Tech, I think he'll be a day one starter, and he should definitely help you out. And if he doesn't, then that is why I'm not an expert. I thought I would pull one out of the, pick that name out of a hat. Look at this, And then my next spot for the offense would kind of be running back. I kind of had a dilemma. It was either between Tuna or Ford. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do both. But my main guy would be Tuna Altier. He's from Eastern Washington. He carried the ball 140 times. He had 718 yards, 3 touchdowns. He averaged about 5 yards per carry. Not too bad. And then Ford. It's a battle in the running back room. It's a little crowded. So that's why I had to choose between the two, and I choose Tuna. And then my defense, I got a linebacker, and I'm also going to say I am going to butcher some names because I found some names here, and I'm like, dude, is it Tavera Tafiti? Yeah, I'm going to roll with it. That's my linebacker. Yeah, that's my dude. So that is going to be the linebacker for me. And then my cornerback is going to be Colin Wright. I just think, those are the best guys out there. Stanford has 19 players leaving, 12 players coming in. And actually, speaking, I forgot to mention in the running back room, the quarterback last year, Ashton Daniels, led the team in rushing with 669 yards. So I thought that was an interesting, that
Not
was
a
an
good look.
interesting thing to say. So that is why I'm going to have Stanford at number 17.
Quick question before we keep going. Are we doing this, you do your team, I do my team, or you send your list, I send my list? Are we just going to bounce off?
Yeah, I think I'd rather just bounce off.
Yeah, that's what we'll do. So then my 17 team, shocker, Stanford. They were dog shit last year. They're probably going to be dog shit this year. But some of the key guys for me that I figured could maybe step up and make something happen. I have C.J. Williams. I mean, 6'1", 196, not a big guy. But, I mean, he did have 16 catches for 248 yards and 2 TDs. I don't imagine they threw the ball a lot if your quarterback had the most rushing yards. So I got him. He's looking like he'll probably be the primary weapon out there, which is saying something that doesn't look good for them. And then I have Micah Ford, who you had, you were kind of torn between. He's 6 foot. He's 210. I mean, that's a great size running back right there. I mean, that's a scary looking back. He had 76 carries for 309 yards, no TDs. So he's going to have to step up. I mean, he's going to have to take a bigger role. I feel like I remember this guy. I don't know why. I do feel like I remember this guy. He was supposed to be a big name, I believe, but never developed. So we're going to see if he does that finally. On the defensive side, I also have Tafiti. I'm not even going to try his first name. Yeah, I mean, 240, 41 total tackles, 21 solos, 3.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and an interception. I mean, that don't sound bad to me. I mean, as a linebacker getting 3.5 sacks, that's pretty good. And then I had Mitch Legber, I'm going to guess. Defensive back, I mean, 6'1", 200 pounds, your prototypical cornerback. But yeah, 54 total tackles, 35 solo tackles, and 2 INTs. So, I mean, he seemed to be shutting it down. So, we'll see. They are probably not going to be very good this year, though. So, I have them also as my last place team.
And yeah, I kind of want to mention, with Ford, you say you got to step it up. Maybe bringing the guy that I picked, maybe ramps up his production. Maybe that's something you can look forward to. Maybe that will push someone to great heights. But now we're gonna move on to 16. Greater heights, yeah, because it's you're already at the bottom. So
hey, don't be afraid to interrupt me, brother. Just if you got something, interject.
Yeah, sounds cool, dude. All right, bet. I actually had to mute it too. I'm over here trying to shoot, where's my shit at? But we got it.
I'm just flipping through, man.
All right, number 16.
Experts, dude. We just guys being dudes.
We're just motherfucking dudes.
We're just guys being dudes.
All right, so 16, I'm gonna go Wake Forest, 4-8, 2-6, and let me tell you something. I had to do a ton of research because I don't think I watched a Wake Forest game in a long time.
I don't think I've ever watched a Wake Forest game.
It's probably been on you probably don't remember.
If I did, it was on accident.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You're not going to get too excited here. But there is one thing to get excited for if I'm Wake Forest is head coach Jake Dickert. He is coming out of Washington State, and he's coming here. He's hoping to bring a positive direction here at Wake Forest, and I can totally see. And if you're a Wake Forest fan, expectations aren't to go, like crazy. Even wins and losses don't dictate the improvement. I think this year is more of just a setting the ground rules. This is what we're going to do. Let's figure it out. And also with Jake Dickert leaving from Washington State, he bringing a ton of transfers. I think it was 8 or 10 transfers from Washington State. Not saying they're going to change everything, but they're moving over to Wake Forest. And I don't think I've ever heard anybody say, I'm going to transfer to Wake Forest. So just want to let that out there.
But when you're at Wazoo, I mean,
Wazoo was a fun team last year, in my opinion.
Yeah, but you're trying to get into that Power 4, you know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough. You're barely
a little more weight in the Power 4 team than a dissolved Power 5 team.
Maybe Pac-12 will get there.
Hey, no, I'm sorry. 12 is just a glorified G5 now. I'm sorry. Look at the teams they coach, brother. I mean, they're just a glorified group of 5.
It's like, dude, is the next community college next? Who are we going for?
Hey, Abilene.
Like, there we go. Come on. Heck yeah, dude. Sol Ross. Is it Sol Ross? Come on, man.
I actually think they're heavily pursuing Texas State right now. They're the most likely to be the last team in.
I'm not even mad at that.
It was like, hey, good for Texas State, but like, I have no respect for the Pac-12 anymore.
I mean,
your best team is Wazoo.
Yeah, hey, you know, Oregon State.
Or Boise State.
I think that's a good pickup.
Maybe. I still think they're a bottom-tier Power 5 team.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking
P4
about
team. Like, you throw them in you throw Boise State into, like, ACC, Big 12, Big 10, SEC. Like, what are they doing?
I don't know. You give them a couple years. I mean, they've always
they ain't doing jack.
I mean,
they got the cool blue field and can't do shit still. They're as cool as Oregon, but can't get shit going.
I will say, at least they made the playoffs. You know, I can't say that for my team, so I'm pretty happy for them. You know, the Penn State game wasn't fun to watch really, because you know when you're playing Boise State, you're like, let's just focus on the running back, and then who else? Okay, awesome. You know, it was just Genty, and then, but okay.
They didn't have a quarterback,
Maddox.
I don't remember if that's his first or last name, but Maddox.
Okay,
no,
but
it's his first name, Maddox Madsen or something like that.
Gotcha. Okay.
It was
let me get back to Wake Forest before we were way out of there. We're out here in the Pac-12. We're getting out of here. Okay, what I was going to say, they had losses to Duke and Virginia. Virginia's always, honestly, kind of been, I'm not saying super solid, but they're usually
last year they were a really good team.
Yeah, and I personally think they got some studs and gems in there that no one talks about. Oh, wins. This team actually beat NC State, Wake Forest, 34th, and they also beat Stanford.
Was the NC State win? They beat Stanford. Come on now.
Yeah, it's not crazy. Was
the NC State win? Was that after Grayson McCall got hurt?
I think so. I don't remember how late in the season was.
It.
Yeah, I don't know how late in the season it was.
With that backup still all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, you know what I mean?
To be fair, I mean, I would be too, bro. You're all right. ACC, they were 13th in offense, 16th in defense. So, I mean, you're still at the bottom. Your defense is horrendous, so you need to fix that. Which, you know what? For them being horrendous, they've got a stud. I would say 2 studs maybe, but one definite stud in that linebacker or that safety. My bad. It's just those stats. You're like, no way.
Those stats, you think he's a linebacker or defensive end.
Yeah, you're like, dude, where's this guy? What's he playing? You saying safety, brother? Hell no.
Jesus Christ, your team is bad if your defense is terrible if this is his stat.
Exactly. And actually, let's just go to defense first because we already were talking about it. My first guy, Nick Anderson. Dude, I looked at his stats and I'm like, holy smokes. No one is talking about this, brother. Shit.
No way.
Oh, God.
Immediately. I think I clicked on him and he was the first guy I clicked on. I was like, immediately going down. Immediately.
Yeah, you know what? You know why? I'll tell the people why. 56 solos, 66 assists, and that's going to equal to 122 total tackles. He had 1 pass defended, 2 INTs, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery. Boom. Wake Forest.
What else could you ask from the man?
Exactly. Hey,
not a damn thing. I mean, dude is an absolute stud.
D-line, plug the holes. Linebackers, help these guys out. Linebackers, D-line.
I'm telling you right now, ACC Defensive Player of the Year next year.
I have him up there. I see it. But he has another partner in crime that I think will also, not saying to his level, but I think he's going to get up there. Dylan Hazen, that linebacker. He is a senior. This is last year. It's his time just to go. You got drafted.
Go shine, go out on the blaze of glory.
Yeah, and he has 36 total tackles, 48 assists, 84 total tackles, 36 solo. My bad. 1 sack. He has a pick too. 1 forced fumble. Or 1 fumble recovery, actually, not forced fumble. But you got 84 tackles there. I think you can help Nick Anderson out because he needs all the help he can get. And then offensively, I only got one dude. I got one dude on Forest. Yeah.
Demon Claiborne,
yes. Rushing. 228 carries, 1,000 yards.
1,000-yard rusher. That's big right there.
Exactly. about 4.5 average, 11 touchdowns and receiving. He was kind of a little part of the receiving I was trying to say 23 receptions, 4 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, so he got targeted pretty well. I mean, it's not like crazy, but he's just an asset there as well. So this guy, he is going to be the offense for Wake Forest, in my opinion. And maybe they can find a way to get him over 1,200 yards. Who knows? That's going to be a cool goal to get to.
Well, you pretty much got all my guys.
That's all your guys?
I got Nick Anderson, Dylan Hazen, Demon Claiborne, but I also have a receiver who I think you should look out for. One of those Wazoo transfers you were talking about, Carlos Hernandez, who's looking like he's going to be their slot receiver. I mean, as a slot receiver, he's 6 foot, 192. I mean, that's a big slot. Dude had 31 receptions for 400 yards and 5 TDs. I mean, he's going to need to step up, at the receiving core, but to be fair, all of them are. Their receiving core was terrible. I couldn't find a single guy on the receiving core that I wanted to talk about. And then I saw him, and I was like, Wazoo transfer with the Wazoo coach, probably going to rely on him. That's probably why I have him in the slot. You're going to want him to do some work and create some separation. That's what we got to see. Can he create the separation as a slot receiver? So we'll see. But that is the only other guy I had that you didn't.
Yeah, you got to help that quarterback out, dude. All right, so let's go with we are moving on to number 15. My team will be California. 6-7 last year, 2-6. I honestly have a little bit of records on mine. I'm not gonna tell y'all, but I have them almost about that same record almost. They're a couple wins short, but they're pretty close. They lost to Miami by 1. That game was actually really fun to watch. I stayed up to watch the Texas Tech and Arizona game. And, when you're in Arizona, they be playing those late games. And then I also had that Miami and California game in. And what a performance. If you're Cal, I don't know. That game was in the bag. That fourth quarter was a meltdown, to be fair. And then you also lost to Pitt, which they were ranked 22 at the time. You beat Auburn as well. I'm actually going to go over to an SEC expert. Just kidding. He's just a Longhorn fan. About Auburn, how was a 21-14 win against Auburn? Is that like a good thing to you, or is it just like it's a...
Just such a... They remind me of Katy Perry, bro. They're hot and they're cold. They're hot and they're cold. They're yes and they're no.
Geez, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they're
okay,
in
cool.
and they're out. I mean, they had terrible quarterback play in Peyton Thorne. Thank God they got his ass up out of there. They needed that. I mean, I don't trust their head coach at all. We'll see what he can do with Jackson Arnold, which, heads up, love that pickup. But can the head coach do anything with it? So it's like, it depends on when they caught him. I'm not going to respect it too much, but you still beat what is usually a respected SEC team. So there is that. I mean, take it how you want. I took it with a grain of salt.
No, fair enough. And they also beat Wake Forest, which I just wrote that down. Didn't have too many quality wins. I had to write down 2 quality wins that I saw, and that was the only one I...
That was a quality win? That was a quality win.
Hey, top 46, though. There we go. How about that?
Hey, we beat the shit out of Missouri State, dude. Quality win.
Hey, y'all don't know about these schools like Abilene Christian and stuff. Let's hold off, dude.
Hey,
it can be really
you
good
know
sometimes.
about them, don't you?
I do. Jesus.
Oh, that's funny.
Man. But they, California, they finished 10th in offense. So a little bit behind the, the middle line. And they finished 4th in defense.
That's not bad. I mean, there was definitely some bright spots with Cal.
Yeah,
there was a little bit that they were looking like they were in the ACC hunt.
Hey, I get it. Also, I will say I didn't really pick a player from this offense. Okay. I had a little bit of a tear here. It was they got 2 transfers coming in as in the quarterback position, and I really wasn't able to pin down which one will get the starting job because it's so open for California. They have a veteran quarterback from Ohio State coming to California, named Devin Brown, and they also have a true freshman coming from Oregon, a 4-star prospect named Jerwan. I can't even say his last name. Kawe Saga.
Palutali? Saga.
I'm sorry. We are not experts.
Jaron Kawe Saga is what we're going to call him.
Yeah, exactly. Kawe. I'm going to call my boy Kawe. And I'm sorry if that really offends anybody, or Kawe. I'm sorry, dude.
Fuck.
Damn.
We suck. All right, we don't know what we're doing. Like,
yeah,
judge us all you want. I don't give a fuck, dude.
But I have him there. Those two, whoever wins, they've got to, take the helm and help somebody. Just go help Cal. And I'm actually gonna root for Jerwan, 4-star prospect in Oregon. I think maybe he can be the bright spot in Cal. They need one. Now, I can't think of a quarterback from Cal besides like Aaron Rodgers a long time ago. I might be missing some. I'm blanking out right now. Can you got any like Cal quarterbacks you think of recently or?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, Jared Goff is from Cal.
Okay. Well, how long ago was that?
How long has he been in the league? That's not that long, dude.
He's pretty long, dude.
He was pretty young when he went to the 2017 Super Bowl, right? That was his second year? Third year?
Yeah, speaking of that Super Bowl, boring ass Super Bowl.
Hey.
Great defense.
We won. Wasn't boring.
Great defense. I ain't mad at it. And then speaking of defense for California, I got Cade. I don't even know.
Ulave?
I didn't write that. Ulave. Yeah, I didn't write that down right. Ulave. He had 71 total tackles, 30 solos. He had 0.5 sacks and 1 INT. He is the bright spot for my prediction of the Cal defense. And also, speaking of Cal, they lost their starting quarterback. I don't remember where he went. And they also lost Jaden Ott to Oklahoma, and he was one of the most respected guys out there. So that's a big loss, and that's why I have him this low. You're losing 2 stars for Cal heading out. And it's like, you know what? You got to replace them, and hopefully one of these quarterbacks can do that for you.
My 15 team is also Cal. So far, our lists are pretty identical. 3 picks in, 2 picks in, whatever the fuck it is. You said you were looking for a bright spot, man, on that offense. I think I have one. Javion Thomas, running back. He almost rushed for 1,000 yards. I mean, I say that loosely. I mean, 630 yards. He had 7 TDs. He was averaging 6.3 yards a carry. I mean, he's a 5'10", 190-pound guy, so he's a little small. But, I mean, if a spark creates an explosion. So, I feel like if he could get going just a little bit more, I think what he did was good. If he could just get going just a little bit more, that opens up for our boy Kawe, and boom, they're off and rolling. Kawe, out of Hawaii, by the way. Why I can't pronounce his name. They all got funky names. I don't like Tafiti, I believe. Tafiti? Yeah, Tafiti, I think he's out of Hawaii as well. The Samoans, man, weird names, but they're scary people. Scary people.
Dogs.
Dog.
All right, so we're going to move on to the 14. All right, let's see if we keep our list the same. My 14, if I looked at that correctly, I believe, I guess if I can open a dang notebook, that would be pretty cool, wouldn't it?
Nah.
14 would be Pitt for me. They were 7-6 last year, 3-5 in the ACC. They lost to SMU 25-48. They also lost to Clemson by 4. So they played Clemson pretty close. They beat Cincinnati 28-27, and Big 12 fans know Cincinnati can hang around. They can make a game out of some things. So I'm not mad at that dub. And they also whooped Syracuse 41-13. So that's a great win.
This was a very hot and cold team last year. They did some really good things with Kyle McCord, but they did some really bad things with Kyle McCord.
Yeah, still finishing 10-3 though, with ups and downs.
There was a game. I don't know which game it was. He had 5 picks.
5 picks. It was either. The score. I don't remember. I do remember the 5 picks. But gunslinger, though, you know what I'm saying?
The Brett Favre of college. I love it.
I ain't even mad at it. Yes, sir. So in ACC, Pitt finished 14th in offense, and they finished 7th in defense. And so the offensive side, I think anybody has to go. Desmond Reed, running back. He had 184 carries, 966 yards. So hopefully he can get to that 1,000-yard mark next year. 5 touchdowns. He averages about 5.3 average a carry. And then also I got the quarterback Elias Holstein. He had an all right year. He also got injured. He had 2,225 yards, 17 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and he completed about 61% of his passes. He got injured though, so maybe his stats go crazy up. But who knows? But if you're Pitt and you have 7 straight wins, you don't think you're going to end the season 7-6. So that's something you must focus on.
Fair.
That's crazy. They lost 6 straight to end the season. So that's up and down. The epitome of up and down right there. That's the season.
Yeah, it went up and went.
Yep, and they didn't even get another, incline. They just went straight down.
No more momentum. It was just straight down. Straight down.
Yeah, and then for defense, I got linebacker Kyle Lewis. He had 100 total tackles. 45 of them were solo. He had 7 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 4 INTs for a linebacker. Love it. That's amazing. And 1 touchdown. And that is going to be my Panthers.
Beer.
Ain't no wrong with that, man.
My
American
14
dream.
slot, I'm giving to Boston College. One of their bright spots is their head coach, man. Bill O'Brien. Everybody hated him in Houston. I don't get it. I thought the dude was a solid coach. I mean, look what he did there. You know what I mean? I got, a receiver, Lewis Bond. He's 5'11", 199 pounds. He had 67 receptions for almost 700 yards, 3 TDs on top of that. I mean, that's not terrible if you ask me. I mean, that's a decent year. I mean, a lot of people would kill for that kind of a year. I also have a quarterback. And now that what's his name went to
Tommy Castellanos.
Yeah, where'd he go?
He went to Florida State.
That's right. Now that they lost him, I think they brought in this kid Grayson James, 6'3", 226. He threw 64%, 1,200 yards, 6 TDs to 2 INTs. But he was ranked the 40th best pocket passer in the nation. I know that ain't like crazy, but out of 60 or 156 teams, whatever it is, 40 is not that bad of a number.
I think it was one? I thought it was 130 something. I don't know. They keep adding.
They keep adding. Hold on.
Yeah, it's like Delaware. Well, I don't remember what Delaware is, but I'm excited. If you're NCAA, if you play it on the.
Oh, you're right. You're right. 134
okay.
teams, 134 teams, and you're 40. That's not that bad. That's not that bad. So, I mean, that's something to look forward to. Now he's gonna have a bigger role. He's a senior, so it's time to let your nuts hang, boy. It's time to let your nuts hang and just throw that bitch. So we'll see. I got defensive line. I love this name, Quintavious Hutchins. Just sounds like a dog right there. And he's a defensive lineman. He's 6'3", 246. So I mean, he's really the size of a linebacker. I mean, so he's probably going to be twitchy. He's probably twitchy as all hell. I mean, he did have 31 total tackles for 14 solos. He registered 3.5 sacks. He had 1 forced fumble with 2 fumble recoveries, 1 interception as a D lineman. So, like, there's potential there. There is potential for something. I love my DBs. You're going to learn this. I was a corner when I played football, so I love my defensive backs. I have a senior, 5'11", 188-pound defensive back in Amari Johnson. He had 21 total tackles and 13 solos. See, we have a guy, did we already talk about him? I believe we did. That got 122 tackles or whatever it was.
Yeah, Nick Anderson. Yeah, for sure.
These are more numbers you should be hearing from a DB. He had 1 INT and he had 5 pass breakups. So he didn't let a lot get through. So, I mean, that's something to look forward to, but they lost some firepower there, so I don't see them having not a bad year, but I don't see them having a very successful year.
Yeah, and honestly, they might, and we look stupid. That's the name of the game. It's our first time ever predicting something this big, or at least mine. I don't know, Aaryn, he might want to jot shit down before last year and rank them, but it's my first time doing it, and it's been fun. Besides the procrastination and waiting to the last minute to do it.
Yeah, no more doing that. That's
Moving on to, we just did 14.
Yeah, we're on 13.
No, 13, yeah. So on my 13th team, and I know Aaryn might not like this, but I'm going to go Virginia. Head coach Tony Elliott. You just brought in a guy from North Texas, which I will talk about later. They finished 5-7 last year, 3-5 in the ACC. They want to get a bowl game. That's what Virginia fans want. Some of the losses that they had was a 20-24 loss to Louisville, and then a 14-35 loss to Notre Dame, which I can't even be mad at. Notre Dame's a tough team.
They went to the Natty.
Exactly. They beat Pitt 24-19. Pitt was ranked 18 at the time, and they also beat Boston College 24-14. Okay, and so the ACC, they were 15th in offense, 13th in defense. So, underwhelming, but, some of these stats will be skewed because some teams will play easier teams and they'll drop more points, and some will, they'll play harder teams. So don't take the stats too crazy, but I just want to write that down as reference. So for my offense, I'm going to go quarterback Chandler Morris. I do believe in Chandler Morris. I just don't know if he's going to, I just don't know about the team as some people as a whole, kind of like you or some other Virginia fans. But I know there's some gems in there that I would like to talk about. He threw for 3,774 yards, 31 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. So a little high. There is some games where he took a chance, but sometimes you can't be mad at that. But it'd be cool if he could drop that lower, especially when you're on a team like Virginia. You can't really give up too many interceptions. You gotta, you make every drive count. And he threw about 63% a passer. And then I got a receiver also to help him out as one of my key players, Jamal Edrin. 23 receptions, 365 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's going to need to step it up, which I believe he will, with Chandler Morris being there.
Good Lord, I cannot stop burping.
You're all right, dude. And then defense, I got linebacker Cam Robinson. I think he's the best defender on Virginia. He had 64 total tackles. 37 of those were solo, 5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery, and 1 INT. And then I'm going to go what I think is cool. You got Cam, and then you got Jam Jackson as a corner, 58 total tackles. 37 of those would be solo. 0.5 sacks as a corner. That's awesome to even get on there, you know what I'm saying? And then 6 passes defended. And then we got a dog on there. What's your dog doing, man?
No, Cooper just hanging out, man.
He's just chilling.
He just want a little bit of love. Because he's an absolute certified good boy.
There we go.
What number are we on?
We are on 13.
My 13. Hey, don't come from my throat, guys. Don't come from my throat. NC State. I just don't think they're going to be all that good this year. I feel like they lost a lot of production. They lost an absolute dog in Concepcion to Texas A&M. I was really hoping we got him. I don't even know if we looked at his ass. I really hope we did. But, there are some really good spots that I'm looking at. It's hard not to like them. But looking at their schedule, let's see. Who are they going to have? They're going to have Virginia, which, like he said, I'm actually pretty high on Virginia to where he's not. They got Virginia. They're going to have Virginia Tech, who, spoiler alert, I'm also very high on. They got Notre Dame. They got Pitt, which we'll see. Georgia Tech, who, if they're anything like they were last year, has a shot at the title. They got Florida State, Miami, and North Carolina, which we don't know much about North Carolina. I kind of shook myself when I did this. I'm not even going to lie. So it's more of a tough schedule for me. They kind of had to reload some talent, and it's a tougher schedule. But looking at the bright spot, look at their quarterback, C.J. Bailey. Homie is 6'6". He's a sophomore who is 6'6", 190 pounds. absolute giant of a human. Yeah, exactly. Gotta look up at that boy. He's a little skinnier. Maybe want to try to put on some weight. He threw for 65%. I mean, he almost had 2,500 yards for what? 17 TDs. The only issue is he did have a turnover problem. He did have 10 INTs. Now, maybe the film says those were partially receiver's fault. Going through the receiver hands, popping it up, and them coming down with it. He's going to have a bigger role this year. I mean, who was it? Grayson McCall? Is that the quarterback that we were talking about? Correct? Or is that wrong? Is that somebody else? No. Grayson McCall. Yeah. Grayson McCall. He gets absolutely obliterated near the start of the season, out for pretty much the whole season. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he was out for the rest of that season. And he comes in, and he might have been deer in the headlights for a little bit. That's probably what them 10 interceptions were just him deer in the headlights. So he's gonna play a bigger role this year. I feel like he's gonna step into that role. He should play good. It's just everything around him does not seem amazing to me. I mean, I got a running back, Hollywood Smothers, 5'11", 182 pounds, also sophomore. Man had 89 carries and only 571 yards. Got to be a little bit better than that. He did have 6 TDs, though, which is not bad. He had 19 receptions, almost 300 yards, another 2 TDs on top of that. So the man could score. I mean, the man could get in the end zone. You need a little more production. You know what I mean? Just a little bit more. And then we have linebacker Cade Fordham, 228, so a tiny linebacker. I don't know if they play more of an Isaiah Simmons, kind of a backer safety combo. I don't know what they got going on there. 49 total tackles, 21 solos. As a linebacker, I want to see those numbers a little bit bigger. I want at least 60-ish total tackles from a linebacker. You should be up in the shit, if you ask me. I mean, you're one of the first lines of defense when it comes to the run game. He did have a sack, and he did have a fumble recovery. He didn't force the fumble, but he did get the recovery. So, that's good. But there is a guy that I don't know if he got hurt and was out the whole year last year. But in 2023, Devin Boykin, the defensive back, senior this year, he's 5'10", 195, a little undersized. But that 2023 season, I mean, he had 54 total tackles, 22 solos. He had 1 forced fumble and 3 INTs. I mean, the dude was, it looked like the epitome of lockdown. And so if he can come back, I couldn't find any stats on him for 2024. That's why I think he might have got hurt or something. If he can come back in that kind of a form, then their secondary looks pretty good at that point. But everything around CJ Bailey just has me questioning him, and that's why I have him so low.
Fair point. All right, moving on to number 12. Oh, you got some more?
No. I got to reload my beer.
All right, sounds good. I mean, I guess I can get, kind of started on what my next pick, number 12. So I'm going to go with Syracuse. People might not like that, but I did it.
But I did it. That's funny right there, boy. I'll tell you what. That is so funny right there.
They had like you said, ups and downs, and they lost one of Aaryn's favorite quarterbacks.
Take it easy.
Well, I mean, did you like him?
I didn't mind Colin McCord.
Yeah.
I liked him in Syracuse. See, I don't think he was Ohio. I will say this. I did like him more than I like Will Howard for Ohio State. But I ain't going to say shit because they won a natty with that boy. So, to each their own.
Yeah.
But I think you could have given me the keys to that fucking Ferrari, and I would have won a national championship with them bitches. I mean, it's one of the greatest teams ever assembled.
Yeah, and so the reason I picked Syracuse this low, it's basically like Aaryn said earlier, the ups and downs, and they kind of play a tough schedule. Kind of want to read a couple of teams that they will be playing. Week 1, they'll be playing Tennessee. You're playing an SEC team. If they figure it out, then it's gonna be fun. They play Clemson. They play Duke, which I am pretty high on Duke. They play SMU. They play Georgia Tech. They play North Carolina. They play Miami. They play Notre Dame. It's just a tough schedule. I think maybe next year you get back. I just don't think this year is going to be the year. Maybe I am wrong. Fran Brown, the head coach, maybe.
I am actually really curious on what you think of Miami. I can't wait to get there.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
I can't wait to get there. The quarterback talk, I'm real interested in.
Yeah, I'm excited to share. Syracuse did finish 10-3 though.
Yeah,
5-3.
Great year. I mean, it's a very
in
successful
ACC.
year.
All three of their losses did come in the division, so you can't fault them for that though. Division games are the conference games are the hardest usually. Okay, but their losses was to Pittsburgh. I kind of mentioned earlier they lost 13-41. Then they also lost to Stanford. So those two games you cannot lose. That is not something you can do.
I think Pitt last year was kind of like Syracuse. They had ups and downs. They just had more downs than ups.
Yeah.
But I totally agree. You cannot lose to fucking Stanford. The laughing stock. It's one of the laughing stocks of the ACC right now. I mean, you can't lose to those guys.
Yeah, so you lose to those guys, and then you come out and you beat Miami 42-38. And then, I'm going to say it, they beat UNLV, and I think UNLV was a tough team, so I will respect that.
Yeah, they were a really good team.
So 44-41, it was a close game. ACC, they finished 7th in offense and 12th in defense, so the defense could be better. But for 10-3, that offense was just spectacular. For my offense, I got one guy here. We got Darrell Gill Jr., a receiver. He had 31 receptions, 570 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I think it's his time, step it up. Let's get a little higher than that. Let's get to like that 700 to 800 range, or maybe 1,000. I'm cool with that. Just be a solid guy out of there. And then we got, for the defense, I got defensive back Deuce Chestnut. So here is the numbers that
Sorry, that name always cracks me up.
Yeah, Deuce Chestnut. This is some numbers that you might like as a linebacker. 61 total tackles. So he was getting pretty active out there.
Mm-hmm.
Solos. So more than half of those tackles were just him. And I would imagine, open field tackles. And that is something you want from a DB. You get a guy that can tackle on the field.
That is your last line of defense.
Exactly. And that's something you want, All these corners, you just want to get picks. I think.
Okay, hold on. No.
That's not what you want.
You don't want your DBs getting these tackles. You're happy.
I'm saying
you're happy he's saving your ass.
I would 100%. Say you want him. You want him to save you, exactly like Nick Anderson.
Yeah,
you're like, dude.
The fact that he has those numbers is not good.
It's bad.
But those
as bad
numbers
as he does.
Are good.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was saying. Is you want those guys if they have to. Listen. I would rather have my linebacker tackle a running back 1-on-1 than a corner.
I'd rather my. I would rather my linebacker have hold on, give me a second.
I'm putting a big dog against a big dog, Yeah,
I want my linebacker having Nick Anderson numbers. I mean, that's an All-American year for a linebacker.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, dude, that dude.
Did he even get All-American? Do we know?
I don't know. I don't know. Probably, I'd hope so. If not, he's snubbed.
It.
He's snubbed. Put this Nick Anderson. If you're listening,
all-time snub,
we're rooting for you.
Yeah,
we are rooting for you, dude.
Snub.
Like, I'm gonna post this on TikTok, Nick Anderson. I am rooting for you.
I'm gonna text Pat McAfee. No, we're gonna try and figure it out.
We're gonna DM him 50 times over and over and over and over.
All right, Brandon Walker,
Josh Pate, undisputed. What were they called? Unnecessary. I said undisputed. Undisputed. Get some Lil Wayne in there.
Get your ass out of here.
But Deuce Chestnut.
We'd love to, collab.
Yeah, I don't know if you would ever have us, but we would love it. We love anything. Sponsorships, just come check us out, man.
Speaking of sponsors, let's go ahead and slip one in. A little Two Docs for you. Not necessarily our sponsors yet.
We just love them.
Yeah.
Go check out Two Dogs Brewery.
Go check out.
We're not sponsored.
Lubbock, Texas.
We will say not sponsored. So let's just get that out of the way. I don't want no legal trouble, nothing. Not sponsored, just Two Dogs. We're a fan of, just saying it as fans. But I'm going to get back to Deuce Chestnut before we go crazy. 61 total tackles, 40 solo. He has 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, 1 INT, and 5 passes defended. I think Deuce Chestnut is in for a breakout season for the Syracuse. That's it. That's your turn.
Okay. All right. So what number are we on? I need to
12.
12. Okay, that's what that. I need to number these as we go. My 12 team, unlike you, will be Duke. They lose their quarterback, Malik Murphy, who I have come to know, dog, from Texas. Big motherfucker. So I looked at it, what they had. I mean, Jaquez Moore at running back. I mean, he's 5'10", 205, senior. Only had 32 carries for 86 yards. The ratio there, not loving it too much. He only had one touchdown. But I do feel like he is primed for a breakout year. I don't see much offense coming really anywhere else but my next guy, who is Quayshawn Brown. The man runs a 4.40, so there's some speed there. It ain't crazy fast, all right? I mean, it ain't no 4.240 speed like some of these cats got these days. I mean, at my time, 4.4 was fast as shit. That was a fast 40. He had 41 receptions for 445 yards, 2 TDs. He's only a sophomore, guys. He's only a sophomore. So he can only get faster, he can only get bigger. He is only 5'8", though, and 165 pounds. So at that height and weight, I do want a little more speed. I feel like at this point and where we are in the sport, if you're that size, you do need to be running like a 4.2, 4.3 kind of 40. But I think they could get something going. I question mark at quarterback. Malik Murphy could have just launched it out to him. Dude had a strong arm. Linebacker, they got Trey Freeman. He's not terrible. 67 total tackles, 30 of them solo, so almost half of them were just him. He did only have half a sack, but he did have one fumble, forced fumble with two fumble recoveries. He also had 2 interceptions, which tells me I feel like the IQ's there. I feel like he can digest a play pretty quickly. And then once again, I told y'all I love these guys, defensive backs, and they are my favorite things to talk about. We got a 6'1", 200-pound senior in Terry Moore. Once again, numbers you love to see while hating to see them. 71 total tackles, 45 of them being solo. He had 1 sack, which I love seeing that in the DB. That means they are willing to send that motherfucker. He had 2 forced fumbles and 4 interceptions. I mean, I don't know if you get more lockdown than 4 interceptions. I mean, there's a half a field because Terry Moore's covering the other half. Stay away. I think Duke, I just think there's too many question marks there to have set them too high. But yeah, that's my number 12 team.
Yeah, Terry Moore is a dog. I will talk about that later as well. We're going to go on to number 11. We're going to be going to Boston College for me. Okay, let's see. Like you said, Bill O'Brien, head coach. In Boston College, honestly, they stay kind of relatively in this area. 7-6 area, 6-6, they're pretty positive. They go to a lot of bowl games. And I see, technically, if I looked at my records, would I have them as a bowl game? Let's see, I would have Boston College go in the bowl game, just based off my records.
Just missing one.
Just missing. I mean, that's fair. They're going to be in this range.
Yeah, they're going to be, they're a big mystery.
Yeah, and, I'm going to root for them. I'm not basing them too high, but Boston College, they finished 7-6 last year. I think they're going to have a little bit of a downgrade. They're 4-4 in conference. Their losses was to the Missouri, the number 6 team in the country at that time. There's a little questions about them being number 6. 27-21. They also lost to SMU by 10, which that's respectable. SMU That defense was, I think, the best defense in the ACC last year. They also beat Florida State first week, kind of set the league on notice, or college football, because no one knew what Florida State was made out of. But Boston College definitely showed what Florida State's going to be dealing with the whole year. So thanks to Boston College for that. They also beat Syracuse. So, Boston College can
Take
be...
that how you will. Take that one how you
like we
will.
talked about. Exactly. They finished 9th in offense, 10th in defense. And for their offense, I had receiver Lewis Bond. He had 67 receptions, 689 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Listen, I am not mad at the yardage. I just would love it to be higher. Touchdowns, 3. I'm going to be honest with you, Boston College struggles in red zone. So if this guy can be a red zone threat or just, make himself available, I think this will be huge for Boston College. Red zone has been a struggle for him all year, so maybe you switch it up. There we go. Be a big thing for Boston College and defense. I'm going to go with your position. Defensive back, I'm going to go KP Price. You might not like this, but 85 total tackles. 51 of them were solo. 1 sack, 2 touchdowns, and 5 pass breakups. That is my breakdown of Boston College.
We're at 11?
Yes, sir.
No, my dumbass. Hold on. I put my pencil in the wrong spot. Here we go.
It's all right.
My number 11 team is the Pittsburgh Panthers. Right? They got they got a running back, Desmond Reed, that you talked about earlier. So I'm not going to go crazy on it. Honestly, I'm not going to go crazy on the offense. You talked about the whole offense pretty much. He's a 5'8" guy, 175, not the biggest. But, I think for a running back, that's what you want. You want not the biggest. You want somebody who can hide behind them big boys and just come out with blazing speed. I don't know how fast he is. I didn't check his 40 time. Should have. Didn't. We're just dudes being guys, okay? We're not experts.
Experts, exactly.
But let's just go ahead and call it a 1,000-yard season. 966, let's just go ahead and call it a 1,000-yard season. I do want to see, with that number of rushing yards, I do want to see more touchdowns than 5. I think you should be up there to 7 to 10 range. For me, this is me personally, once again, we're not experts. I think you should have a touchdown for every 100 yards. Obviously, there is a little grace there. You know what I mean? Maybe every 150 yards, I should see a touchdown. That makes me feel like you were productive. Not only were you productive in running the ball, but getting into the end zone. Eli Holstein, I'm not gonna sit here and beat a dead horse on him either. He played great last year. Has a lot of potential. 62%, almost 2,500 yards, 17 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. We got to get that turnover rate down a little bit. But other than that, like I said, great freshman year. The kid was new to the sport. No, not new to the sport, but new to the college scene. And I think performed exceptional. I have a linebacker, Braylon Lovelace. I think that's how you say his name. He's a junior, 6'2", 225. He had, 53 total tackles to 23 solo tackles. He did have 4 sacks, though, which I like to see out of a linebacker. That means they were willing to send the house with his ass. 1 interception as well. So, I think he is a bit of a bright spot in the defense, along with who I find to be a great size for a defensive back. If I'm not mistaken, he is a corner, to be exact. I just put down DB. He's a senior, but he is 6'3", 200 pounds. I see that on the outside. I'm like, fucking going to the other side. Cool. He had 35 total tackles, 27 solos. So pretty much every tackle was just him, which, like you're saying, I'm glad he's getting those. And once again, respectable numbers for a DB. That's more of the numbers you're looking for as a DB. You're only trying to see him get a select few tackles. You just want him locking down that quarter of the field. He did have 1 fumble recovery, but I think why I wrote this down is I love the size. 6'3", 200 pounds. That's scary. I'm sorry. You see a DB that's 6'3", he can sit there and go against your 6'5" receiver and hold his own. You know what I mean? I like that. But yeah, my 11 team, the Pittsburgh Panthers.
Moving into the top 10. Here we go. Number 10, I have NC State. Last year, NC State went 6-7, 3-5 in conference. So I mean, you're right below average, right below the 500.
They did get hit. They did get hit with the injury bug, though. You can't forget about that. They got hit with the injury bug pretty hard. But I mean, their key player, their quarterback, who was an absolute animal at Coastal Carolina.
Maybe, unlocked a new door to another superstar, maybe, or a star coming out of NC State. But they lost to Georgia Tech by 1, lost to Syracuse by a touchdown. The wins, they beat North Carolina 35-30 was one of the wins I wrote down. They were 5th in offense. So even with injuries, 5th in offense. So that can maybe talk about a quarterback that you've already touched up on that I kind of want to, talk about again. 15th in defense, so that's something you need to fix. You're still like 15, there's 17 teams in the conference. Let's work on fixing that. Okay, so the quarterback
real quick, sorry.
God damn it.
Sorry, you just reminded me. So I guess technically Notre Dame is not an ACC team, but I guess they have a contract with the ACC, so they're an ACC team. We did not break them down. I don't think we will break them down. Or maybe we should.
Yeah, kind of like a standalone episode. I mean, we can.
I'm not going to do a standalone episode that takes 5 minutes.
Well, I mean, like standalone. Yeah, I mean, what I meant to say is you put it in and then we can like news, but it can be like a focal point of the whole episode. Where we can probably break them down even farther than most teams because it's just.
We may not even touch them. Just know they're probably going to be pretty good. They usually schedule themselves a cupcake schedule. So broken down. There you go. They're probably going to be the playoff. There you go.
And I've seen a lot of Notre Dame in like these ACC. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I think they have a contract with the ACC.
It's a lot.
We went down the legit ACC teams. Notre Dame is an independent school. Not an ACC team, but I started realizing as we were doing this that just about every ACC team plays Notre Dame.
Yep.
And that's probably why they were on that list. Probably why they were on there. Did not break them down, so do not expect Notre Dame. Sorry that it took us an hour to let you know that, but did not break down Notre Dame. So, sorry for interrupting you, but go ahead.
No, you're good. Quarterback CJ Bailey. You talked about it. Interceptions a little too high. But also his rushing. He had 99 carries, 279 yards, and 5 touchdowns. So he is a dual threat. And, maybe he can live up to the expectations, and make NC State, better than last year. They were 6-7. This year I have them about the exact same. So about the same record. Also, I wanted to touch on, they got an offensive tackle coming from Utah State, Teague Anderson. So like you said, you were talking about how McCall was getting obliterated. So why not work on getting the offensive line in the transfer portal? So I think that was a perfect pickup. Just try to get somebody. Tackle is one of the most important parts of the offensive line. And if they trust him enough, he'll be on the opposite side. So if the quarterback's righty, you want to put your best tackle in the blind side. So we'll see where Teague Anderson lines up to see if they really do trust him. Maybe he goes to guard, and who knows? If you're a lineman that can be interchangeable, you're very, very valuable. So moving on to linebacker, did you touch on A.J. Richardson?
Did not.
A.J. Richardson, he had 82 tackles total. 23 of those was solo. 1 sack, 1 INT, and 1 forced or fumble recovery. So, I mean, NC State, your defense is 15th. I mean, not much more you can do as a linebacker. I'm not going to tell you, go get sacks. It's pretty tough. But you had 82 tackles is respectable. I'm not mad at that. If you want to bump it up, that'd be cool. Get to 100. Go listen to.
Go follow. No.
Yeah. Go follow Nick Anderson. See what he does. Or go.
Yeah, go on. Just follow him around all day.
You should have transferred to Wake Forest.
Yeah, he could use the help.
Yeah. So, and I also wanted to star Dylan Hollywood, some others. I think he will be the best player in the North Carolina State offense. I don't know. Watch out for him. I think it's a breakout year for Hollywood Smothers. And that is going to be my my NC State breakdown.
Okay, let me get over to mine. My number 10 team. Sorry, I heard the baby monitor detect some movement.
Gotcha.
My number 10 is Louisville. Not high, not low on them. Tyler Shuck's gone. I ain't gonna sit here and act like I thought he was the shit. I mean, I watched him play at Tech, and I watched him underperform and get hurt too many times for me to be high on Tyler Shuck. Shuck show, shit show, whatever you want to call him. I don't know. But they got a running back. They do got a running back, Evan. Isaac Brown. He's a sophomore, so his freshman year, he had 1,000 yards rushing, almost 1,200 to be exact, 11 touchdowns. He also had 30 receptions for 152 yards and another touchdown. I think he is primed for another big year. I don't know how they're going to stop this kid. He's 5'9", 190 pounds. He's just going to hide behind that line, dude. He's going to hide behind them big boys and just squirt the fuck out. I mean, I don't know what you do to stop that kind of a guy. I ain't going to touch on him too much. I think he's probably going to be the whole offense for them. But they also have tight end, Nate Kursky.
Timeout. Did y'all hear that? We got a tight end. First tight end in the whole rankings. How about that? Coming out of Louisville, huh?
Yeah, coming out of Louisville. He's a junior. He's 6'3", 240. So not the height I like to see out of a tight end. Good weight. He's probably more of a blocking tight end. He only had 12 receptions for 112 yards, 3 TDs, which kind of proves that, yeah, he's probably just a blocking tight end. But I like those 3 TDs. That means they probably use him a lot in the red zone. So play action. I don't know how that they do that. I think he's going to be a safety net for whoever the quarterback is. I didn't put a quarterback down because it looked like they were about to have a little bit of a quarterback battle when I was looking at them. So I wasn't comfortable in trying to be like, oh, this is going to be a guy to look out for, and he not even start. So contrary to my running back of Stanford, I'm willing to roll the dice. It's a running back, okay? But quarterback, I didn't know who the quarterback was going to be, but I feel like for the quarterback, this is going to be his safety net. Is Nate.
Also, I want to say I took the swing and put a quarterback down.
Quarterback down.
Yes, sir, I did.
He said, "Fuck it, let's see what happens."
Exactly. Like you said, we're not experts.
No. Let's go to my linebacker. I got TJ Quinn. He's a senior. He's 6'1", 230, decent size. 82 tackles. 82 total tackles, 35 of them solo. Solo bolo, man. He can get there. He has a 1.5 sacks. Not bad. He looks like a little bit of a stud. We'll see if he can continue that into this coming up season. Hopefully, we'd love to see it. I love to see good defensive play. I also, shocker, did not go with a defensive back here. I went with a D lineman. I went with
snap, Aaryn, D lineman.
Yay! Look at me go.
Okay.
Adonij. I don't know how to say his first name. Green.
If you're a Louisville fan, you would.
Yeah, hey,
you should probably
let
know.
us know in the comments. let us know in the comments.
Even though our fan base hasn't even exited Texas.
Our fan base of 11. Hey, we love y'all. We love all y'all.
Oh, we do love y'all.
We love y'all. Hey, especially my boy from Austin. We love you. We love you. I love you.
Because you wore
baby.
Texas gear. Because you wore Texas gear. There we go.
Look him, baby. He's only a sophomore, but he's 6'6", 240. An absolute fear monger when it comes to size. He had 12 total tackles, which 8 solo. So luckily, all of his the bare minimum of tackles that a D lineman could have, 12. I like to see that out of my corner. Not 12 tackles. That's the number I want to see. Not my D lineman who's supposed to be all up in the shit. But good news is, out of that slim pickings, most of them were solo. Most of them were solo. He did have a sack. I do believe he will have a bigger role here on this defense. Now that he's grown a little bit. He's grown a little bit in the program. He didn't leave. He stayed. There's not too much around him, so he's gonna have to produce more. I think you need to watch out for him.
There we go. All right, we're going to move into number 9. So this team I wanted to put higher, because I'm pretty big on them, but it's going to be the Duke Blue Devils. Duke, they finished 9-4 last year, 5-3 in the ACC, and I actually have them going lower than last year, even though I think they are going to be better. Does that make any sense?
Hold on. Repeat what you just said to me, boy.
I said, listen, they're 9-4. I have them losing more, but I think they're gonna be better than they were last year. I looked at the schedule; they just play some tough dogs. Like, you got Georgia Tech, Clemson, North Carolina. I just think they got some couple of those. 5-3. The ACC, like I said, they lost by SMU by 1 point. SMU was ranked 22 at the time. They lost to Georgia Tech. They beat North Carolina by 1 and beat Virginia Tech. They were 12th in offense and 6th in defense. And I'm more excited to talk about the defense side of the ball. But for offense, I got Quashawn Brown, wide receiver, 41 receptions, 445 yards, 2 touchdowns. I needed to expand your role here. I'm going to need a little bit more touchdowns than 2. Even though I'm not expecting you weren't the first option at Duke. But now, I think the top 2 guys left. I don't know if it's due to eligibility and transfer, but they're pretty gone. So, it's your time to shine. And let's get these stats up, and I do believe in you. Defense.
Hey, you hear that?
I'm going to go.
He believes in you, big dog.
Come on, Quashawn Brown. Let's go. Defense. Here we go. I think this is going to be, I'm going to say it, one of the best defensive backs room in all of the country. I'm going to go with whole country.
We're going to find out.
Yeah, we are.
No research on none of the other conferences, but hey, if you think so.
How nice these 2 guys that I chosen. I love it. Terry Moore is one of my DBs. Like you said, what'd you say? You have one guy on the field, Terry Moore?
You got half the field because Terry Moore's covering the other half.
And I would counter that. The other half, you got Chandler Rivers, is going to be one of the best corners in the game. He had 54 total tackles, 30 solo, 1 sack, 2 forced fumbles.
You like my magical beer?
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Keeps filling up, dude. It's crazy.
3 INTs, 8 passes defended, and 1 pick 6. I think these 2 guys are going to be amazing together, and I'm excited to watch Duke football.
All right.
And that's my Duke breakdown.
All right. My number 9 team. Evan was over here hyping it up. They're so high. They're high in my book. They're not that high. I got the Syracuse Orange or whatever the hell they're called. If you're called the Orange, what the fuck? What the fuck? You're a color. You're a fucking color. That's just stupid. I'm sorry. That's just fucking stupid. Good Lord. Get some creativity out there. I ain't going to touch up too much on Darrell Gill or Darrell, however you want to pronounce it. I don't know. Darrell Gill Jr. Evan already did that a little bit. 6'3", 173. I like the height. He sounds like he could be a jump ball guy. Fuck it, Darrell's down there somewhere kind of guy. He did have a 4.4 40. Once again, like I said, I like seeing a 4.4. That makes me feel good. But they have a running back, Yasin Willis. I almost called him Wills. He's 6'1", 220, almost 230. Honestly, that's a big boy, especially for the running back position. He had the only issue. He only had 36 carries for 130 yards and a TD, but he was a freshman, so I don't want to, hound on that too much. You probably weren't the first guy. You know what I mean? So we'll see. I think he should be getting a bigger role in this offense. I hope he gets a bigger role in this offense. You're 6'1", 230, buddy. If you ain't fucking blowing through some people, what the fuck are you doing? And then I do have a defensive back yet again. It's a common theme with me. I got a 6'4", 200-pound defensive back I don't think it gets any better height. I think 6'4" is. I think he's a safety, if I'm not mistaken, and I am pretty excited for this guy. Oh no, he's got to be a corner. Sorry, he had 56 total tackles, which we go back to. Love to see it, hate to see it. 38 of them being solo, so over half of them were solo. He had 2 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, and an interception. I mean, it is Devon Island. It is Devon Island. Do not go his way. He is 6'4". He is with your tallest guys. Your jump ball guys, he's locking down. It is 70-30 when you throw his way. It is not a 50-50 ball. Then I have linebacker Derek McDonald as well for Syracuse. I mean, once again, 230, 55 total tackles, 22 solo, and 1 forced fumble. I mean, honestly, I'm saying this now and I'm not realizing it. It's kind of sad that the DB's outdoing the linebacker. But hey, dog and dog. So I got my Syracuse Orange at number 9.
All right, moving on to number 8. We're going to take Virginia Tech. The Hokies. And, I want Virginia Tech to go to the playoffs because I just heard reports about that Metallica concert that caused some earthquakes. So that atmosphere would be legit. Yeah, but can I tell you something? They're not going to make the playoffs this year, in my predictions at least. So we're going to have to wait another year for that. They finished 6-7, so I actually have an improvement this year for Virginia Tech. Let's listen. They lost to Vandy, and I want to go take it to a. Listen, let me finish. They lost to Vandy, so I want to take it to an SEC. He watches it. He's a Texas fan. Aaron Ross. What about a loss 27-34 to Vandy? How should Virginia Tech feel last year?
Say this. I am so proud of Vandy last year. They, for the last 10, 20, 30, maybe even 40 years, have been the biggest joke in Power 5 football. I mean, they were, if you're fucking Hawaii, you weren't really worried about Vanderbilt. You're kicking their ass. To all of a sudden, they're bowl eligible. You got an absolute dog, Diego Pavia, the Don over here, fucking putting in work, upsetting Alabama. How do you feel about that? The team that beat Alabama beat us. I mean, they had an absolute stellar year last year, so I will not sit here and put that against, who'd you say, Virginia Tech? I'm not putting that against Virginia Tech.
Lost in overtime, too.
Hey, you went to war. We almost lost to Vandy. I mean, Vandy was good last year, and I think, I'm not sure because we haven't done the SEC breakdown, but I'm willing. I need to look at their schedule, but I feel like they're primed for another good year because the Don is back. Don Diego Pavia is back.
There we go. And they also lost to Miami by number 4. Those are 2 tough teams that they played themselves.
I actually watched that game. That was a crazy game. And I do believe Virginia Tech should have won it. There was a bullshit catch call that I don't know if I agree with. So, Virginia Tech, I was with y'all that game, but I also wasn't mad because I was really big on Miami because I was a Cam Ward fan. I watched him at Wazoo, which nobody watches him at Wazoo. I watched him at Wazoo. There was a reason he was a Heisman candidate that whole year at Wazoo. And when he went to Miami, I loved it. So I was super excited. I think it was a no-catch call. It was an interception, I believe is what happened. And they called it a no-catch. Or it was, I can't remember if it was a no-catch or they were fighting for the ball. But homie landed out of bounds. Virginia Tech landed out of the bounce fighting for the ball, and the other dude didn't, so they called it a touchdown, which essentially won them the game. Bullshit game. Virginia Tech. That was Virginia Tech's game. Sorry, go ahead.
Speaking of Wazoo, before we go back into Virginia Tech, John Mateer, Cam Ward. What's going on over there, guys?
You ain't done. Gardner Minshew.
Gardner Minshew. I watched him live. What a guy. Well, that's fair. I wouldn't put him on the same level, but.
Although I will say with Gardner Minshew, that was the house that Leach built.
R.I.P. Leach, man. Big.
Hey, fuck you for beating us and like knocking us out of the national championship in 2008. But like,
you're good. We shot
ourselves in the game.
Yeah, we shot ourselves in the foot.
All-time great coach. Y'all dumbasses got rid of his ass. Y'all didn't want to pay him.
But now we're back. Maybe.
We're back.
They finished 6th in offense. Virginia Tech did 3rd in defense. There you go. That's when I think Virginia Tech. I honestly do think defense. Offense here. I got receiver Aiden Green. Did you talk about Aiden Green? I don't remember.
I haven't talked about Virginia Tech yet.
Okay, Virginia Tech, Aiden Green had 19 receptions, 268 yards, 2 touchdowns, so it's a small sample size. I just feel like he is going to be the number 1 receiver over there in Virginia Tech. And then I'm moving on to linebacker. On the defensive side, I got Jaden Keller. He had 83 total tackles, 35 solo, and 2 forced fumble recoveries, 2 fumble recoveries. And I kind of highlighted on my notes about Virginia Tech's 7 losses was that every loss was close. So I could have wrote down all the losses, like the losses that I talked about. 7 points to Vandy, 4 points to Miami. And I got the schedule pulled up here. I can kind of 10 points to like Clemson and then 7 points to Syracuse. So like they've been in every game. It's just they didn't go their way this time, which, kind of like on the NFL side, the Chiefs, those 1-score games went to Kansas City. But Virginia Tech, they pretty much went opposite.
We will get to the NFL.
We will.
Way later down the road. Fuck the Chiefs. Carry on.
Yeah, but
I know you feel the same way. I know you feel the same
Yeah, I know.
way.
I mean, look at this, guys. You see this?
I know you
I'm not a
feel
fan.
the same way.
But every loss is close, and you can't fault Virginia Tech, like Aaryn said about the Miami game. But that is my breakdown of Virginia Tech.
All right. This dude, I'm going to tell you right now, I think this team, my number 8 team, caught lightning in a bottle last year. I do not see them. I'm not saying they did bad this year. I just don't think they're doing very good this year. My number 8 team is SMU. Some bright spots. I mean, they got Kevin Jennings coming back. He was a decent quarterback. I still want to ride with Preston Stone. I know he played terrible last year. It's kind of why they benched it. I don't know what he's doing now. I don't know where he went or if he is out of eligibility. I'm not sure there. But I mean, Kevin Jennings, 6 foot, 189, 65%, 3,200 passing yards for 23 TDs and 11 interceptions. If there's a year for a breakout for him, it's this year. I mean, it's all or nothing. And he's going to have a guy, Romello Brynson, at receiver that he's going to throw to. He's 6'2", 186. He had 13 receptions, but he did have 135 yards off of that. So I know numbers are small, but I like 13 receptions for 135 yards. As crazy as that sounds, I think that is a great ratio. And that tells me it sounds like he has some playmaking ability. They just didn't use him very much all year. In my notes, I literally just said better with a bigger role, and that's exactly what I think is going to happen. I think he's going to have a bigger role, and he's going to show his playmaking ability, and he might step up and be their number 1 receiver. I was telling Evan about this, I believe it was last night. I had to talk about this guy because I absolutely just love his name. And honestly, his stats are not terrible. I got Alexander Kilgore. I just love that name. He's 6'1", junior linebacker, 229. Go ahead and call him 230. 56 total tackles, 19 solos, 1 sack, and 1 forced fumble. I mean, he looks like he could be a force in that linebacker room. And who doesn't want a guy named Kilgore? Who doesn't want a guy named Kilgore? And then also, I think this guy could potentially be a high draft pick next year. Isaiah Nwakobia. I don't know if that's how I said his name right. He's a senior. He's 6'1", 193. 100 total tackles. Love to hate to see it. 53 solos. So more than half of those were just him. More than half of those 100 tackles were just him. He had half a sack, which, what the fuck is a half a sack? I mean, go ahead and give it to the guy that got made. You made contact first. That's the sack. All right, it's his sack. 3 interceptions. I think he is going to be the anchor of this defense. He is going to be the anchor. I don't know any other way to put it. I mean, I like him. I think he's going to be a high draft pick. He should be a first-round draft pick. Will he be? Probably not. He'll probably slip to the second round. But he should be a really good player to watch out for the NFL, I believe.
All right, moving on. We're getting a little bit farther down. And for my 7, this team, no one knows what's going down over there. I don't know either. So I kind of, put them in. I threw myself out there, and I thought they would be number 7. And that's going to be North Carolina. See, listen, I don't know where to start with North Carolina. I was looking at their stuff, and they are, I just feel like there's a lot of buzz around them, but for the wrong reasons. Like Belichick's 24-year-old girlfriend. I swear that's the only thing I hear from North Carolina.
Get you some, big fella. Get you some.
Listen, I'm not mad at him for it. It's just, that's all I hear. So he is the head coach. How will he fare college football? He's a defensive-minded guy. Maybe they'll help North Carolina bump up their numbers. They were 6-7 last year, 3-5 in conference play. They lost to Georgia Tech 34-41. And this is the one I wanted to highlight. They lost to James Madison 70-50.
Well, hold on now. Before you highlight that, James Madison has been a proven program for probably about 5 years now. I mean, do I say it's acceptable for North Carolina to lose to James Madison? Probably not. But I don't know. I feel like if you're going to lose to a school of that caliber, James Madison's going to be the one.
And I will totally disagree with you. There's no reason you should have a team drop 70 on you. That, I don't care who it is. 70 points is ridiculous. That is something I hope Bill Belichick will fix. And I get, like, I would rather than lose.
You keep fucking Mac Brown's name out your fucking mouth.
Yeah, I mean, that's your guy.
You keep a Texas legend out of your fucking mouth, damn it.
Like, if you lose, make it like 40-30, not 70-50.
Right? He's got a ring. What do you have?
I got a podcast with 11 views. 70-50, dude. That's ridiculous. Come on, I know it's not ridiculous. It's the Broncos, 70 points. Come on,
it's also college football, Evan.
I
know you're an NFL guy. 70 is not a crazy. Yes, it's still a big number.
I don't care if you're talking about college.
70-point games.
I don't care if you're talking about college or NFL. 70 points should never be a thing that should be accepted. No, any sport. I mean, basketball. But
yeah,
football.
If you hit 70 points, that's the final score, then we're questioning your basketball ability.
Yeah, exactly. But, that should never be a thing that should be allowed in football. I don't care what team it is. 70 points should not be. I mean, my thing is also, too, James Madison, 70 is just ridiculous. Who knows? But they beat Minnesota. So we go to a 70-50 game, and we go to a 19-17 dub from North Carolina. You're like, what are you doing? Exactly. And I think that's where Bill Belichick will shine. I think with those games, he will be the best. They also beat Virginia 41-14. Like you said, you're going to be high on Virginia this year. They were pretty solid last year. They were 8th in offense. And the thing I want to point out, even though AMU did drop 70 on them, they were still 9th in defense. So they definitely made up for it. Because if someone's dropping 70 on you, you would think they'd be last or close to last. No, they kind of made up for it at the end. The guy I really am excited for, coming from South Alabama, the quarterback, Gio Lopez. That dude is a dual threat, and I think he is going to be great. He threw for 2,559 yards, 18 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Not bad at all. I would like more than 18 touchdowns, but I'm still not mad. 5 interceptions is perfect. I'd take 5 interceptions any day.
Wrong. Hold
Rushing,
on,
he
hold
had
on, hold on. There's no way on earth you think 5 interceptions is perfect.
him 0 or what?
0 is perfect.
This guy.
He throws
I
one
mean,
interception. I'm like, hey, you had a great year. Don't turn the ball over.
yeah, you're right. Not perfect. I will fix my. He just
I'll take
5
it.
interceptions.
I'll take it.
I'll
Yeah.
take 5 interceptions.
I don't know if
He
I
had,
like the ratio too much. 18 and 5. I don't know if I like that ratio too much. But 5 is not a bad. 5 is not a terrible number. You're right.
Yeah, I'm not too bad. 66% as well completion. So I mean, I'm not mad, but also his carries. He had 83 carries for the rushing side, 465 yards and 7 touchdowns. There you go. There's the kicker. There you go. 7 touchdowns rushing. I love it.
All right, I'll shut the fuck
And
up.
also,
I still don't think 5 interceptions is great. I like
you know, 5
somebody.
interceptions. Great.
That's what you said. You said it's perfect.
Shit, I'd take that any day. You telling me quarterback
sure
can have
you
5
would.
interceptions?
But with only 18 passing touchdowns,
See, I don't see it as that bad.
I don't see it as that good.
Fair enough. I mean, to each their own. The conversation has to end someday.
Like, it's not terrible. I'm like, I will happily take that every year. But I'm still gonna be telling them like, hey, let's trim that. Let's trim that number a little bit.
Yeah, and now he's moving to North Carolina, so hopefully we'll see. Maybe what are you projecting
With
for
the
Gio
GOAT?
Lopez?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I
What
would
do you
say so.
do? What?
What would you project Gio Lopez to go under like North Carolina? If you had like a number, like your set number, that would make you happy. And
what?
projections if you want to. For Gio Lopez,
I don't
his
know,
touchdown to interception ratio. What are some numbers you think you can see?
I don't see much different. I'm gonna say he might have less rushing yards to rushing touchdowns. Because if I'm going off my knowledge of Bill Belichick, which I am loosely a Patriot fan, not much of a fan, or I guess I don't really have much of a favorite team in the NFL, which you'll come to find out. But when I was riding high on a team in the NFL, it was the Patriots. Belichick has never had a mobile quarterback, minus Cam Newton, and he never used Cam Newton how you're supposed to use Cam Newton, I think is the best way to put that. So I think those numbers will dwindle. And then pretty much his whole career, he had the GOAT at quarterback, who was the most, I mean, let's be real, guys. He's probably one of the most unathletic motherfuckers to have ever graced the field. He was just one of the smartest people to ever grace the field. So I don't know if the numbers change too much. I'm more looking at that defense should be a whole lot better than what it was last year. If the defense was good last year, it'll be great this year. It'll be amazing this year. I mean, that dude is a defensive guru.
Exactly.
I mean,
That's why
you look at every Patriots Super Bowl, yes, Tom Brady was a big part of it, but he got there with the defense.
I would agree.
Yeah. So, yeah.
If I was a defender, I would go over there to North Carolina.
Absolutely.
Exactly. But
Absolutely.
I also wanted to highlight.
Honestly, if I'm just a player, I'm going over there. Because his whole spiel is that I'm not here to win a national championship. This is what he said. I'm not here to win a national championship. I'm here to get these guys pro ready. He's using it as a bridge. It is a bridge to get to the NFL.
And I think this bridge will improve than last year. Yeah, exactly. I also wanted to highlight with Gio Lopez running rushing ability. Davion is Gauss. He was actually the second running back. Omarion Hampton was first. He got drafted to the Chargers, which I thought he was going to the Broncos. So kind of shocked me. Got Jahdae Barron instead.
Hey, dog.
Comes to find out, I'm a big fan. But Davion, he had 67 carries, 326 yards, 4 touchdowns, and he averaged about 4.9 a carry. So I think he's going to have a way bigger role, and this is going to be his year to shine. And that's all I got for North Carolina.
Okay. Which leads me to mine. My number 7 team, I have a few questions, and that is Miami. Everybody, I think, is really high on this team because of their transfer portal splash. But I question them. I question Carson Beck. He left Georgia, I mean, we'll call it what it is, playing terrible. He played fucking terrible. Dude threw 12 interceptions. You cannot turn the ball over like that. You can't. I mean, good news is he's 6'4", 220, 65% for almost 3,500 yards. Like, yeah, that's cool. 28 touchdowns, yeah, that's cool. 12 interceptions is going to lose you a lot of games. And it did. I say it did. It was fucking Georgia. They didn't lose very many. But fucking Miami, they had a fucking legend at quarterback last year who willed them out of a lot of games they should have lost. You know how many interceptions he didn't have? 12. Because they'd have lost a lot more games. Also, I question. I mean, dude pretty much had Tommy John surgery, essentially. How is that going to affect him? Is he going to be worth a damn when he comes back? Off-field distractions this offseason. His car's getting stolen. Cheating on his absolute bomb of a girl. One of the twins, I believe, from Miami who play basketball. If I'm not mistaken, check them out. If you look at one, you've seen the other.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Cheats on her. That's causing a whole big ruckus. How is he going to perform? He ain't even locked it. He showed for spring practices, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So he has no rapport with his receivers. Whatever. Their running back, though, Jordan Lyle, 6 foot 190, 54 carries for 400 yards and 4 TDs. That's kind of the ratio I like to see. He had 400 yards. That's 100 yards, for each TD. I like to see that. He should also have a bigger role now that, what's his name? Is it Martinez? Or is that Florida? Am I thinking Florida?
Which one?
Martinez. This is his last name. I think it's like Damian Martinez.
What is he, a receiver?
He's a running back. Is he Florida's running back?
I think you're Florida.
I'm thinking Florida.
I think so.
Who was Miami's running back? I thought Miami had a running back.
Mark Fletcher.
Was there a running back last year?
Maybe. Let me look at that real quick.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and look at that.
Yeah, Mark Fletcher was the...
Okay, yeah. Okay, never mind then. I thought they had Martinez. I'm definitely thinking Florida then. He should have a bigger role either way. He should have more than 54 carries. Some running backs get that in almost one game. He should have a bigger role. Looks like he could have a good year if he's getting a touchdown every 100 yards. Feed that man the fucking ball. I have a defensive back, shocker, Damari Brown. He's 6'2", 195. Only has 2 solo tackles, but he will be playing a bigger role this year. He was a sophomore last year. Probably didn't get the looks. He is part of Miami. They usually get some fucking recruits down there. But I think he has a nice size. I think he has some pretty good size for a defensive back. And we'll see. I mean, we'll see at the end of the day. But I say look out for some Damari Brown. And then I have Reuben Bain Jr., my defensive lineman from there. He's 6'3", 275, absolute behemoth of a man. He has 23 total tackles, 14 solos, with 3.5 sacks. He had 7.5 sacks the year before. So if he could tap into his 2023 self, he could be an absolute force. He could be a, All-American, All-ACC defender. But yeah, that is my number 7 team, Miami.
Man, this podcast is going to be a long one, it looks like, huh?
I figured it
But,
would whenever we were at 30 minutes and we were only at 13.
But I might spare y'all. This might be a two-sided, kind of like an album disc A, disc B type of situation. We'll see. But my number 6, I don't remember where you put him. You put him a little higher, but I think that it's going to be Louisville.
I have them at 10.
Yeah. And as a 6, I just said? Yeah, 6. Okay, so 4 spots ahead. Okay, so I put Louisville down. So you are... Oh, yeah, I did tell y'all before that I took a swing. It might be a strike, but I put a quarterback on here. Remember we talked about a quarterback battle down there in Louisville? But I took a chance. They were 9-4 last year, 5-3 in the ACC. They lost to Notre Dame by 7, and they also lost to Miami, 45-52. They beat Clemson, though. That is a huge thing. Clemson only lost 4 games, so that's huge. They also beat Georgia Tech 31-19. And like we both said, Georgia Tech is a tough team. They were 4th in offense, 8th in defense. So this offense was crazy. Let's be honest. The SMU, and I do want to highlight the SMU and Louisville game, was fun to watch. That was a really good game. So on the offense, I got a quarterback, Miller Moss, transferring from USC. So his
No, I realized
his
that.
stat,
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
That's
he
a
had
good pickup.
2,555 yards, 18 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 65 completions. I don't know if he got injured. These stats aren't as
He
crazy.
got benched.
He got benched. Okay,
That's
what
why
it
he
was.
transferred.
Okay. Makes it, and I honestly think he's going to step into a good role, and I think he might be kind of exactly like Tyler Show.
My question with him, though, is his mental. Because his whole thing is his whole life he wanted to be a Trojan. His whole life he wanted to be a Trojan. Got that and got benched. Does he even care anymore?
Kind of be like Bo Nix.
Wait, he wanted to be an Auburn Tiger the whole time?
Yeah, his dad was an Auburn Tiger. So it's kind of his dream, and then, had to go to Oregon, and it worked. So maybe I think he's in a perfect
got to
position.
to his brother, though, so you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. That is pretty cool. I think Miller Moss is in the perfect place for quarterback to go to.
You
I love it. Yeah. Like you said, you got a running back. And once you have a good running back,
opens up
it's going to take a big load. It's going to take a big load off. And we talked about Isaac Brown. He's going to be one of the top-rated running backs in the ACC, maybe in the country. Like you said, he almost had 1,200 yards.
Crazy.
1,200 yards for a team that I think about just chunking that ball, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's great. Okay, so I looked at his stats. He averaged 7 yards per carry. That is ridiculous, dude. 7 yards per carry. So that guy, he's gonna be a fun one to watch. I think Louisville's gonna be back up to the top, and I think Jeff, the head coach, Broham or whatever, I don't know how to say his last name. Jeff Brom, I think actually.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
I think he created a culture that's gonna be hard to tank. You know what I'm saying? I love him as a coach. He's top 3 coaches in the ACC, in my opinion. Dabo Swinney being one. I think he created a culture, and this offense is going to be, I think it's going to pick up right where it left off. But in my opinion, Louisville fashion, they're going to drop a weird game.
They do it every time.
They're going to drop a weird game. So I don't even know who I had them losing to, but it's not even a team they should lose to, but I think they're going to drop something. Also got my defense. I went for a linebacker. Saquon Clark, 76 total tackles. 43 of them were solo, a half a sack. 2 forced fumbles, 2 INTs, and 2 pass breakups. So not too bad. I am a little worried about the defense, but they weren't too bad. But let's see. I just know the offense is in good hands, and that is my Louisville pick.
My number 6 pick. There's a lot of question marks behind. They, I think, underperformed is a hell of an understatement. Yeah,
I know the team just by that statement.
How the
Yeah,
fuck do you
okay.
go undefeated one season to
Yeah.
pretty much fully defeated the next season? I got Florida
DJ.
State. Yeah, I got Florida State. Evan, there's going to be a quarterback battle going on. I kind of forgot this guy transferred. All right. We're not experts. But I had Brock Glenn forgetting that Castellanos done transferred over there. And he's a sophomore. He's 6'2", 215. I mean, not terrible size. He threw for almost 600 yards, 4 TDs, 5 interceptions. Did not like that. But before I remembered Castellanos transfer over there, I was like, you know what? It'll be his second year, in the program. He can only better those numbers. I thought he was poised for a breakout year until I found out he probably ain't even going to be the starter. He might be. I mean, I'm sure they're going to have a little position battle, So we'll see there. So I'm not gonna touch on him like too much because we don't even know what's going to happen there. But show love to the big boys. My one and only offensive lineman,
Let's go. There we go.
Andre Otto. All right, he's sophomore. He's 6'5", 225. And an absolute monster on the line. I mean, I believe he transferred in. I can't remember from where. But I believe that year he only allowed like 2 sacks. I mean, absolute monster on the line. Good luck getting by this guy. Great first step. He's going to hit you with that. You know what I mean? And you're not getting by it. Then I have linebacker Justin Cryer, Jr., 6'1", 232. 32 total tackles, 19 solo. He had 1 fumble recovery and 1 INT. He was having a great season before he got hurt. So I'll just take all these stats and just know he got hurt. He had to stop about halfway through because he got hurt. So looked like he was poised for a great year, and then injury took him out. So I'm expecting him to bounce back from that and have a great year. And then I have a defensive back. Shocker, Earl Little Jr. All right, he's a 6'1", 186 junior. 15 total tackles, 10 solos. Those are the numbers I love to see in the corner. He had 1 sack, and I'm expecting him to have a way bigger role this year. It's all about if their coach can coach them correctly this year, because last year fucked them up. I mean, you went undefeated to won 2 games? That's embarrassing. So I'm expecting them to pick it up, but I ain't expecting too much out of them. But that's why I have them at the number 6 slot.
Alrighty, number 5. You're wondering, Evan, where the fuck is Florida State? Motherfucker, he's right. They're right here. Number 5, I got Florida State. I was thinking about having them about 7 wins because the line in Las Vegas, I believe, is 7.5, which that is a tricky line. That is a well-placed line. I don't know what they do over there, but their lines are legit. That is tough.
I'll be right back. You keep going.
Gotcha. So they are 7.5 line. I have them over by a game. Looking at the schedule, I was thinking that they would win about 7 games. But, they start off the year with East Texas, and they got Kent State, Virginia. That's 3, I think, wins. And then they play Miami, and then Pittsburgh, Stanford, Wake Forest. I think that's all dubs. And they play Clemson. I would think that's a loss. You play Virginia Tech, NC State, and Florida. I think they lose to Virginia Tech and lose to Florida. So, I mean, their schedule really allows them to be 8-4, like I said. But let's really get into it. 2-10 last year, 1-7. Let's be honest, they struggled. They couldn't run the ball offensively. They couldn't stop the run defensively. They couldn't throw the ball. DJ struggled.
Fucking shit.
Yeah. And I'm not even mad at Mike Norvell, the head coach. I'm not even mad at him. Florida State fans, listen, I know I like it better when y'all are up top too. I enjoy that. But let's hit the brakes. I don't think you should be looking towards an ACC title this year. I just think you just need this improvement. And I think you're going to get that improvement this year. 8 wins is solid from 2-10. You go 2-10 to 8-4. I think that's perfect. The losses, He lost to Georgia Tech 21-24, which I'm not even mad at. I just wanted to highlight they kind of played them pretty tough. He also lost to Miami 14-36. The wins, they had a gritty win against Cal 14-9. You can't be mad at a win like that. They ranked last in rushing. The offensive line was also bad, which is why I loved how you put an offensive lineman as one of your key players. You got to protect these quarterbacks coming in, you know. And ACC, can you guess where they ranked offensively in the ACC? They were 17th. They were last. Defensively, they were 11th.
DJ Ukulele as a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean,
Clemson learned their lesson pretty quick.
Yep, Gandhi. Let's get him.
Get the fuck out of here, brother. Oregon State learned their lesson pretty quick. Get the fuck out of here, brother.
Yeah, and they brought in a defensive coordinator, Tony White. So let's see how that works. He usually runs a 3-3-5 scheme, so maybe Florida State sees that they have some athletic linebackers. In case some of y'all don't know, a 3-3-5, you can use different blitz packaging. It's really harder. It's easy to confuse the offense of what you're doing. You can drop back two people in coverage. You know, it's just confusing for offenses. So maybe Tony White can change the culture here as well, just not on Mike Norvell's shoulders. Offensively, got Deuce Robinson. He is a transfer from USC. He had 23 receptions, 396 yards, and 5 touchdowns. I think you are in a prime position. You know, you need this is a perfect time. This team is struggling. Be the guy. But I put in another receiver. I also love his name, but he is a transfer from Tennessee. Squirrel White, sorry. He had 34 receptions, 381 yards, and 2 touchdowns. These two got to help him out. Tommy Castellanos got benched from Boston College. So that's why I do agree there is a battle for the quarterback position. So you're going to have to help a quarterback out. If it's Tommy, and who was the other guy that you mentioned? I just lost his name.
Florida State?
Yeah.
Let me look real quick. I had Brock Glenn, Andre Otto, Justin Cryer, and Earl Little.
Brock Glenn. They're taking another chance on another quarterback, but I think he is a bigger improvement than DJ. So that's why I have him this high. Defensively, I got a defensive tackle, Darrell Jackson Jr. He had 31 total tackles. That's awesome. As a D tackle, you don't get a lot of tackles. You don't get a lot of love.
Yeah.
You're just in there. If you win your gap, you won the job. I mean, you know, people look at stats. It's hard to, you know, look at stats from a D tackle's perspective. It's because all they got to do is win that gap. You know, if they need to blitz A, they got to take the A gap, B gap, whatever. You just got to win the gap, beat the offense light of the punch. You're getting hit every play. It's tough. But I think 31 tackles is nice. 14 solos, 17 assists. He had 3.5 sacks. D lineman, that's awesome. He had 1 forced fumble. And then I went defensive back, Shaheem Brown. He had 70 tackles. There you go, man. DB having 70. 39 solos and 2 pass breakups. So the defense is going to have to step up. So if the offense is struggling, we need to make up for it. But I think they're in way better hands than last year.
My number 5 team is a team that I'm high on, and he was not. Bring in Virginia. They were pretty good last year. I think they'll be pretty good this year. I love their transfer quarterback, but I'm not going to put too much into because he's already talked about him. Chandler Morris out of North Texas, originally TCU, some people forget. Played pretty good for North Texas. I mean, like he said, almost 4th. I mean, he did have a bit of a turnover issue, 12 INTs. But he also ran for another 4 touchdowns. So that's what's up. I think this is probably why I'm pretty high on Virginia is I love Chandler Morris. He is a gunslinger to the definition. He is willing to air that bitch out, even if there is nowhere to air that bitch out to. He will try. I love it. He also talked.
Sorry, you glitched there. What happened? Oh, we had a malfunction.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you good?
Did this just die?
I think so. That's funny. You had a glitch. Can you hear everybody good? Are we all right?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Okay.
Oh, damn it.
I lost talk.
That is
You,
not.
brother.
Yeah, man.
Give it a little bit.
So you can't hear me at all.
Hello?
I see.
You
I
can hear
you
me?
fine.
I just can't hear you?
Yeah, I just
Fuck
can't
it,
hear
we'll do
you.
it live, baby. Okay, so we have Cam Robinson as my linebacker. I believe you touched up on him. Yeah, okay.
I
You
did.
touched up on Cam Robinson, so I'm not going to go into too many details. I mean, 64 total tackles, 5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 1 INT. Love to see that out of a linebacker. I also had a DB, Antonio Clary. He's 6 foot, he's 203, 48 total tackles. He had 17 solos and 1 interception. Pretty good. I'm pretty high on Virginia. I'm hoping for the best, expecting the worst, I guess. Moving on. Yes, to our number 4 teams.
All right, number 4. I am going to go with Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech, I have them really high. They were a really tough team last year. Let's see where we have them here. Got to go through my notes. I put extensive research into this. They were 7-6 last year, 5-3 in the ACC. They had some losses to Syracuse. It was 28-31. They lost to Georgia in 8 overtimes, 42-44. So Georgia Tech, there you go. I think next year maybe it's your turn to get them. Maybe it's your turn to get them. And then they beat Miami 28-23. They also beat Florida State 24-21. That was a week after Florida State lost to Boston College. They were 11th in offense, 5th in defense. So offensively, I think I got also one of the greatest, not great, oh my bad, one of the best ACC running backs right now. I almost said greatest, that's ridiculous. Jamal Haynes.
May I ask who's your number?
I got Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech.
Yeah. Jamal Haynes, he had 169 carries, 944 yards, and 9 touchdowns. And then defensively, I got Amarian Harvey. He is a defensive back, 62 total tackles, 47 solo, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery, 1 INT, and 2 pass deflections. Like I said, I'm going to call it right now. Georgia Tech might get the best of Georgia this year. Who knows? Georgia Tech, I was telling them when you were trying to get the audio, they lost to Georgia in 8 overtimes, 42-44. So maybe this is the year where they'll finally get them.
Who'd you talk about, your first offensive player?
Jamal Haynes.
Okay.
I just had one each.
Okay. You had one each? Okay, then
Yeah.
I'll just go ahead and touch on the other two because my number 4 team is Georgia Tech. They have a quarterback who's coming back out of stanky, terrible, shitty Texas A&M, and I will not back down. We have Haynes King. He is a senior. He's 6'3", 215. He threw for about 2,200 yards, 4 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. That's a pretty good ratio. I do believe he struggled with some injury. He threw for 73% though. That's good. I mean, yeah, he played great until injuries. What I got right there in my notes. I think he's a dog certifiably. He kind of willed y'all to some wins that maybe y'all didn't deserve last year. But I mean, he's coming back. He's only smarter now. So I think he'll play a big role. Obviously, he's going to play a big role. And then I also have Kyle Eifert, junior, 6'2", 230, 64 total tackles to 33 solos, and 3 sacks. So absolute monster on the defense, and we will see how Georgia Tech does. But I am pretty high on Georgia Tech. I just think let me look at the schedule how I think them. I think I have them dropping a couple. I have them losing to Clemson, Virginia Tech, and I actually have them losing to Georgia. So
Maybe. Who knows? It's
we'll
only
see.
clicking, hopefully.
But yeah,
I'm not mad at it. I totally get it. I was just kind of rooting for him, after that
Absolutely.
game. It's just like, Next year, you got him, guys. We're moving on to 3. So we had a big drop off in Aaryn's rankings. This team finished second in the ACC, lost in a nail biter against Clemson in the title game. I'm going to go with SMU. You know, we are brothers, but we think differently. And I will say that. But maybe, what if both of us are wrong and they win it? Wouldn't that be kind of cool?
Hey, Texas represent.
SMU. Yeah, I ain't mad at it. I'd root for them. Here we go. Okay. They were 11-3 last year, 8-0 in the AC. Their losses was to BYU. I remember that game early. It was 15-18. Low-scoring game. Also, BYU is a tough team. I don't care what anybody says. BYU is always one of those guys. They're tough. They also lost to Clemson, like I said, that nail-biter. Game-winning field goal. They beat Louisville, 34-27. They also beat Pitt, 42-25. Okay, so it's hard for me to drop SMU. The ACC, they were second in offense, first in defense. And first off, I want to say they didn't lose too much on defense. So their defense pretty much is still intact. But their offense is where they did lose multiple folks. And I totally understand if they can't, get the same stuff back, high scoring offense like they were. I can see that, but I think the defense is what really can carry them to third in my power rankings or rankings, whatever it is. Okay, quarterbacks. You already touched on Kevin Jennings. I think he's going to be a key guy into this. You're going to hold off. You're going to have to help these other offensive guys come in because you've already lost. You lost your top rusher, Bashard Smith, and some key receivers on the offensive side. So you need to help bring these new guys in and teach them the offense. And then also, I wanted to talk about a weird story that I was reading up on. Zion Nelson, an offensive tackle from Miami. I heard he played Miami 2023, and he took an off year. I don't know what happened. I would have to look him up, but that's a story that I would want y'all to really look into because it was weird how he didn't play for a year and then he just came back. I don't know what happened.
Randomly came back.
Yeah, I'm trying to look right now to maybe see if I can talk about it a little bit. But he kind of resurrected, dead man walking. So why would I not put him? Why would I not put him at a? Let's see. Why would I not put him as the key player? It says he was named. Okay, Nelson was medically retired from football in July 2024 after multiple knee injuries, and he decided, I'm going to suit up for SMU. So dead man walking.
I don't know about walking, Nelson. But dead man crawling.
Maybe. Hey, you on the offensive line. Just go cut some people, dude. Got him. You got this. And then defensively, I got linebacker Kobe Wilson, 117 total tackles, 54 of those were solo, 3 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 2 INTs, also got a touchdown and 2 passes defended. That is why SMU would be third in my ranking. I think this defense stays up to par with what they did last year.
Our Virginia fans, don't come for my neck, but at number 3 I have Virginia Tech. All right, I just think their offense is a little too good. They got an absolute dog at quarterback coming back in Kyron Drones. The dude was really good. He's 6'2", 235. He's a senior. He threw for 61% last year. 1,500 yards, 10 TDs, and 6 interceptions. I only expect the TDs to go up and the INTs to go down. He did have 336 rushing yards for 6 TDs, so watch out. Homie can run. He does need to take a big step forward this year. But I expect he does that. Kyron Drones was expected to be one of the perennial quarterbacks of of college football, and I expect this year he does have a breakout year and he just goes crazy. I also had Terrion Stewart at receiver. He's only 5'9" but he's 220 pounds. Boy is a bowling ball.
That's a big dude, man.
He almost had 1,000 yards as well. He had 898 yards for 6 TDs.
You know what they say, though? Those little guys, not to be disrespectful, but the smaller guys, when they hit the gym, they breathe that gym air and they're automatically jacked.
Yeah.
This guy reminds me of that.
The only issue with him, though, is he had a fumble problem. He had 3 fumbles, and they lost 2 of them. Can't have that. Got to cut that short. But I do think Terrion Stewart, that will be Kyron Drones' guy probably. The bowling ball that wrecks them all. I had a DB, Christian Ellis, 6 foot, 202. Had 99 total tackles with 42 of them being solo with an interception. Numbers you love to hate to see. The best way I could put it, absolute dog. Then you have the linebacker Caleb Woodson, 6'3", 230, 72 total tackles, 26 solos, 2 sacks and an interception. So he could break down a play. I think he's going to be a great player, and I do expect them to beat Virginia. That's why they're at the number 3 spot. Virginia Tech, folks.
All right, number 2 for me. There are some questions, and I took the bait. I'm going to go with Miami, number 2. See, I was on the same side as you. I was like, dude, Carson Beck, he played a little rough. Injury, he hasn't thrown a pass in spring training or whatever they call it now. Who knows? He's a question mark. But like you said, I'm looking at the transfer portal. And you know what? I'm a believer in transfer portal just because, some team got second. I gotta root for these transfer portal guys. Carson Beck, topic. And I also wanted to disagree with your point, but I didn't want to cut you off because, what I was going to say was, I don't think it's bad Carson Beck cheated on a girl in Miami. You're in Miami, you're single, and you got tons of money. Let's go, dude. You're going to Johnny Manziel this, right? You're going
crazy. Do you
crazy.
even know how she looks like?
I do, but what I'm saying is quantity
over quality?
I'm just kidding. Maybe you find some folks over there in Miami. All I'm saying is, dude, have fun. You're in Miami.
You with them big booty Latinas, bro. You with them big booty Latinas. It's hard to say no.
They're there, dude.
It's
I don't even know the full story, to be honest with you. I don't even know the full story. But the losses for Miami. Okay, but first off, before we get into losses, I want to talk about Cam Ward and how I think Miami definitely let him down. This could have been an ACC champion team.
That coach is not the best coach. He's not a terrible coach, but he's not the best. You got to remember they lost to, I forget who it was, 2 years ago, because instead of kneeling the ball, he decided to run it, and the running back fumbled.
That was, hell.
Yeah, that's that same guy.
Diaz? Manny Diaz?
Is it Manny Diaz? Here, I might have said that.
That's a Duke head coach, I think.
Maybe
it's Mario. Right. Mario Cristobal?
That's right, yeah. Cristobal.
Mario Cristobal. Yeah, I was like, hey, Manny Diaz, Duke, why are we throwing shots at him, man? Yeah,
sorry,
I totally forgot about that.
Sorry, yeah. Terrible coaching decision there.
Yeah.
Who are they playing?
I don't know. I just hated those black uniforms they were wearing.
I didn't mind them. They weren't terrible.
Not a big fan. I don't remember who it was because it was so traumatic. I didn't even want to I'm not even a Miami fan. I was like, oh my god.
That was the
look that up while
23 season.
Yeah, look that up while I keep going. They lost to Georgia Tech 23-28. They lost to Syracuse. They also had some dubs against Louisville and Duke. They were first in offense, 14th in defense. They got the transfer Carson Beck from Georgia. And Aaryn already touched up on them. You got to lower these injuries and lower the injuries and lower the interceptions. He is a question mark, but I believe in Miami. I think they're going to be good. I just don't think they're going to win it this year again. But I can totally see them not making the ACC title game, but I think they'll be close enough. Also got running back Mark Fletcher Jr., 112 carries, 607 yards, 9 touchdowns. And he is 5.4 yards per carry, which is not too bad. I like it. And defense, I got linebacker Wesley. I'm not even going to try that last name. 59 total tackles, 36 solo tackles, 2 sacks, 1 interception. And like I said, they were third in the transfer portal. So let's see if Miami can keep the ball rolling. And that's all I got for my number 2.
Give me 1 second.
You looking up that Miami game? Yeah, well, you do that.
Georgia Tech. My number 2, not even going to lie, shocked me that they were my number 2.
Okay. So you were just doing this.
When I looked at the schedule, it was just hard to start betting against them. And that's because they have an absolute GOAT. North Carolina. How can I say no to Bill?
North Carolina at a number 2.
That's crazy. I didn't expect it. I figured they'd be around the 5-6 range. But the more I looked at their schedule, I was like, I feel like they could beat NC State. I feel like they could beat Syracuse. I feel like they could beat Cal. And then overall, their schedule is pretty weak. I mean, TCU, I'm not expecting much out of TCU this year. Charlotte? Who the fuck is Charlotte?
I took TCU, by the way, over.
That's crazy. Richmond, UCF. I don't see UCF being pretty good this year. Stanford, Wake Forest, Duke. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not really seeing it. But you brushed on Gio Lopez. Yeah, he's a great dual threat quarterback. My issue is he's a G5 guy. I mean, he's a South Alabama. Where I'll give South Alabama, they absolutely lit it the fuck up this last season. I mean, they were 70-point games multiple times. I know Evan hates to see that, but it's college football, bitch. You're gonna see it a lot. All right. But they have a receiver, Jordan Shipp. All right. He didn't do too much, but I think he can do enough. He's 6'1", 190. He had 9 receptions. 9 receptions for 114 yards and a TD. Obviously, he does something with the ball when he gets it. He's possibly going to be their number one receiver. I'm also looking at Gavin Gibson, that defensive back. He's 6 foot 185. He had 52 total tackles to 25 solos. 1 forced fumble, but 3 INTs. All right. Do not throw it his way. You also have Smith Vilbert at defensive lineman. Yeah, I got another one, folks. I got another one. He is 6'6", almost 300 pounds. Absolute hemoglobin of a human. All right. 12 totals to 4 solos.
The hell that word come from, dude? It sounded cool, though.
Right?
I ain't mad at it.
He only had 1.5 sacks, but he had 2 forced fumbles and 1 fumble recovery. I expect him to play a bigger role, not only because he's a big man, but because they need him to. All right, my number 2 team, North Carolina.
Man, what a pitch. Dude, you got me. I'm sold. Okay. Unless you've been living under a rock. Unless you haven't watched college football in years. I'll just say 2 years. Unless you haven't been looking at what's happening. Number 1, I think we both got it. We do definitely both got it.
Yeah, I was about to say, Evan, there's only one more option available.
There's only one more team. And they could have won last year, but teach their own.
Hey.
I'm going to go with my...
I know they were away last year. They caught us first round.
My number 1, Clemson Tigers. Head coach Dabo Swinney. We kind of touched on him in the pilot episode. We didn't go into depth, but this right here is the reason why we think that Clemson could win a natty.
Yeah.
Oh, my stuff just went away. Sorry, you can't hear me.
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
I can hear you.
Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you.
Oh, snap. I can't see myself, dude. Okay. Okay, we'll just figure it out. Clemson 10-4. They were 7-1 in conference. They lost to Georgia week 1. Cade Klubnik, I think, had like 145 yards. It was a tough game. It was 3-31. Game wasn't close. He also lost to South Carolina. Can you hear me still?
Yeah. I just switched you over to my AirPods again.
Okay, so they lost to South Carolina 14-17. The wins was against SMU 34-31. They also lost to Virginia, or they beat Virginia Tech, 24-14. They were 3rd offense, 2nd in defense. Quarterback Cade Klubnik, I think, has a chance to win Heisman. He had 3,639 yards, 36 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He had a 63% completion pass. Receiver, I went TJ Moore. I think they're going to have one of the best receiving cores in the nation. He had 45 receptions, 651 yards, 5 touchdowns. Okay, everything is going wrong at this last. I can't see Aaryn. My things are dying. People are calling. It's about time for me to wrap this up real quick. So I'm going to go fast. You can take your time. I'm going to go D and TJ Parker. He had 57 total tackles. 34 of those were solo. 11 sacks, 6 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, and 1 pass deflection. Then I got a D tackle as well. Peter Woods, he had 26 total tackles, 18 solos, 3 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. And I think Clemson wins the ACC, and that's my prediction. You go ahead. I can't even see.
All right, so Evan's going through the struggle bus right now. So I also have Clemson winning the ACC. He pretty much touched on just about everybody I had. Cade Klubnik, senior, probably my favorite to second favorite to win, maybe even third favorite. He is my top 3 favorites to win the Heisman between him, Arch, and Drew Aller. We'll get to those other 2 later, probably in about 2 to 3 weeks. Little foreshadowing. Like he said, 63%, 3,600 yards. What I loved, 36 touchdowns to 6 INTs, great ratio. It's his 4th year in the program. I mean, that's when people shine. TJ Moore, 6'3", 200 pounds, absolute behemoth of a man. 45 catches for 651 yards and 5 TDs. He's a big old target for Cade. Throw it up, fuck it, he's down there somewhere. Right. All right. Well, I'll just go ahead and touch on this guy real quick. TJ Parker, absolutely agree. Big man. He's a demon off the line. He's got a great first step. Dabo Sweeney, can't count Dabo Sweeney out. But then we're going to touch on to Ashton Hampton, the defensive back.
There is light. I see everybody.
Hampton, 6'2", 200-pound cornerback. He's only a sophomore, so he's only going to get bigger. He had 20 solo tackles. I don't know if I put it in his total. Apparently I didn't. This is the first team I did, by the way. So I was learning as I went. He had 2 interceptions and 5 pass breakups. I mean, absolute dog. I feel like this team is primed to, like you said, possibly win the national championship. I mean, there's going to be a couple teams that challenge them along the way, but I mean, they're following the blueprint of the last 2 national champions. I mean, you look at Ohio State. They're seasoned veterans. I think we said this in the pilot episode. They were veterans by the point that they won the Natty. You go back to Michigan. They were all pretty much seniors. They were vetted in the program, won a national championship. Now it's the same with them. They're vetted. They're ready to go. They're hungry. They want it. Dabo Sweeney finally fucking decided to get his dumb ass into the fucking transfer portal. And now we'll see what happens. So, yeah, our conference champion, Clemson Tigers.
Yeah, and I totally forgot to mention, they won their off season just by retaining. Like you said.
It's Clemson culture. It's what they do.
Aaron's right. That's our conference championship. You know, it's going to be a lot of editing and stuff. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to figure this out. This is our first time on Riverside.
Yeah.
This platform.
Yeah.
We had a lot of stuff dying. So I think, so next week, you touch up on what we're doing next week, and I'll go a little bit of housekeeping. Because this is our first time. We're going to learn how to upload and edit on this Riverside app. And we're going to charge stuff. We're going to charge our headphones.
Yeah.
Put our phone
and we're going to charge you $20 to listen.
Jeez, dude, no, heck no. We get no listeners, bro.
I thought we were charging. Sorry, I thought that's what you meant. My bad.
No.
So next week coming up, we're gonna have the complete Big 12 breakdown. So expect what we did. Hopefully, we can wrap it up in under 2.5 hours. Probably not, because that's probably going to be the most hectic conference there is to do. But yeah, we're going to be way better prepared. Expect our information or our researching to be a little bit put the cheap ass notebook down. If it ain't a 5-star notebook, then it ain't shit. Expect us to probably do the same the same kind of a breakdown, but we're gonna be doing the Big 12 next week. Yeah, we are your Gridiron Boys.
So good. Thank you for listening.